Okay, so today we are going to be learning about Google Earth. So Google Earth is basically like a virtual globe. It gives you Okay, so today we're going to be learning about Google Earth, and Google Earth is basically a really detailed virtual globe. Clearly, it's by Google. So in order to get to Google Earth, there's two ways you can do it. You can just Google Earth, and it should be the first result that comes up, or you can type into your web address bar google.com/earth, and that will also take you to Google Earth. So when you get to Google Earth, you'll get to this page, and here we'll see first an overview of Google Earth, and it will give you a bit of kind of tutorial about things you can do on Google Earth. The next thing over here is we have Earth versions. So we're going to be accessing Google Earth on the web browser, but Google Earth is also available as an app for mobile devices, so that's tablets and phones, and it's also available as a desktop app. And the desktop app is actually called Google Earth Pro, and it has a few more features that are not available on the mobile app version and the web browser version. Namely, as we can see here, it has the ability to import and export GIS data, and it also allows you to go back in time to see historical imagery. So that's historical imagery that Google has taken and has access to. So we'll probably go back as far as Google Earth goes back, which I think was 2003 or so when Google Earth was first introduced. So to get started on Google Earth, what we're going to do is we're just going to click right up here in the corner. We're going to click Launch Earth. And we'll get this. It will start loading. And we get to this page. So we can see the whole of Earth. And a few things to go over first is kind of some navigation tools. So pretty simple. If you want to, spin the globe as you would a globe on like a desk, you can just click and drag on anywhere on the globe, and you're able to just spin it around, which is pretty fun to do actually. Additionally, you can zoom in and out using your zoom keys on your keyboard or trackpad. Otherwise, you can use these plus and minus buttons here in the bottom right hand corner that I'm circling with my mouse. Those will zoom you in and out as you click. So on top of being able to click and drag to move around and zoom in and out, if I zoom in quite close, so let's go into let's go into France. The closer I get, the more detail I'm going to be able to reveal about the place I'm looking at. So we can zoom right into here. Let's zoom into somewhere that's a bit more populated. Here we are. So if I'm in this city, what I can do is now I can see this close-up view, and on top of being able to see aerial views of things, you can also see a street view of things. So you can gotta get your boots on the ground and look around. And in order to do this, you're going to revisit that corner over here that had our zoom in, zoom out button. And we'll see this little button right here. It looks like a little person. And what you can do is you can click and drag this little person. You'll see that we have some things highlighting in blue. Those are areas which we can drop our little person. So if we drop them right there, what's going to happen is we're going to zoom in more, and we're going to be brought to street view. So basically what we can do is we can see from the street, we can actually move down the street and get a 360 view, actually all around view of what we're looking at. We can look up and down at the sky and wherever we like, which is pretty cool. Now in order to get out of street view, all you have to do is just actually click that little person again, and that will exit you out of street view, bring you back to where you were before. Now another cool thing here in this corner is we have this compass tool. So if I click this right now, we'll see I'm kind of facing on this east-west view, but if I click this, it's going to readjust me and bring me back to a north-south view of things. So if ever you kind of get lost and you're trying to relocate yourself, you can just click that. It will put you back into a north-south view. Now if I double click on the globe, that will also bring me back out to the main view here. Okay, great. So the other thing you can do on here is you can search for locations. So if you're just trying to find somewhere cool, you can use this search key. So in this example, I'm going to search for, say, the Louvre in Paris. So we will go to the Louvre. When I do that, I search it, it's going to find that place and it's going to zoom me in there. If it is, kind of a famous location, you'll also get some information here. It will give you the Wikipedia page about that place or building or whatever it is, so you can learn a bit more about it. Now when you're in here, you can again look around and you can use your street view. Now the cool thing about certain kind of, like I said, famous locations, especially museums, sometimes you can kind of get a view in. So if I were to take my little person here and drag and drop him, I could actually drop him into a point kind of here, maybe somewhat in the Louvre, and it should bring me into a closer view. I can get into the courtyard and all that. It is also possible to kind of get, let's see, inside parts of the museum as well. So if I do this more closely, here we are, this should work. Come right there. Should be able to get into a section of the museum, yeah, and I can kind of move around a bit in here and look. I mean, this is limited, and it might be better for different museums, but you can kind of get a look into certain buildings, so that's kind of cool. So like I said, you can use this search thing to basically search anywhere in the world, and it will take you right to that location. So it doesn't have to be a famous location, it can be just a regular address, and you'll be able to see it. Now, right here, the second feature here is called Voyager. And if we click this, this is actually a new feature to Google Earth, which is pretty cool. They've basically created all these kind of curated lists of locations. This includes things where you can look at, nature. There's actually games and quizzes you can play on here that relate to different locations. You can set different layers that you can see the polar sea ice coverage, and you can see different layers, how it's changed over the past several decades. So that's really, really cool. And you can put do cultural tours and stuff like that. So for example, let's just look at one in here, the scary movie location. So if I clicked on this, it's going to give me a list of famous horror movies, scary movies, and where they're located. So the Timberline Lodge in ski area, this is famously from The Shining, Jack Nicholson. You can actually go and see where that is. Here it is, and if we zoom out on it, we can see exactly where that's located. Right here. It is, where is this? And that's going to be on the west coast. Looks like Washington, maybe. Yeah. So anyway, you can go around here, look around, and then you can, go to different locations. Here's one that's a volcano in Japan. This is where The Ring was shot. Next we have old abandoned, looks like a castle or something in Spain. This is where Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro was shot. So kind of cool stuff here. You can just explore different ways to view the world through the lens of scary movies, or else a cultural lens, a language, through different nature things and stuff like that. So this is a pretty neat feature and a fun thing to do if you're just bored one day and looking to explore a bit. Now the next feature we have here on Google Earth is this button right here, and what this is, it's called I'm Feeling Lucky. So if I were to click this button, basically what's going to happen, it's just going to take me to a random location. So it's just, if you're bored and you just don't know what you want to look for, click on that and it will just take you to choose a random location for you to see. So it's taking us to the Agua volcano in Guatemala, and you can go explore this area. It will give you all the information over here on the right again. So that's kind of fun. The next thing over here on the left is the projects button. So all of these features in Google Earth you can access without a Google account, except for this one. So projects pretty much allows you to create a presentation using Google Earth. So we can start with this location I have right here. We'll see right below here it says add to project. If I click that, it's going to ask me to add to a project. I can add it to an existing project or create a new one. We'll call this one volcanoes. Volcanoes, save. And then I'll have a new presentation. Now, this presentation will be saved to your Google Drive, so you don't have to worry about saving it throughout. It's going to just save. So here we have that here, and if I want to add a new location, I can either just search a location, search for another volcano, just see where it brings me. Let's go to this one. Now this one's nearby, and I can add that to my project as well. Save. And now we'll look at this project. It has 2 locations. Now the other way to add features to your presentation or your project is just to click here, new feature, and you can see you can search a location to add a place mark, so I could just place something and there it is. Or else you can draw a line or a shape, and also then click enter and save that. So what's going to happen now when I click present right here is it's going to open it up as a presentation. So you'll see right down here we have the table of contents, and as I click through here, it's going to take me from location to location and jump around, and you create a little project or presentation to go along with this kind of exploration. And there's a lot of other features in here that would be too depth to go into. So if you want to learn more about how to create projects, I highly recommend watching this tutorial down here. That'll help you figure out more out about the project feature. Now the next thing over here is we have layers. So I'll just delete this project, next out of it. So we have layers. So what layers does is it basically allows you to change how you're viewing things. So right now we have, we're in the custom, the everything layer, so this shows all the borders, labels, places, roads, all the markings on a map. If I wanted to change this to something called exploration, this just gives me borders, labels, and places and roads. It kind of simplifies the map. And then clean gives me no borders, labels. It literally just gives me images of the earth. I won't see, except for the places I've marked, I won't see locations, I won't see borders or anything like that. So it gives me a clean view of the globe. Now, if we go a bit further down, we can actually customize our view in our layers. So if we go here, we can choose what we turn on or off. So we can choose landmarks, and we can even go into more details. I can say, I just want to see natural landmarks. I don't want to see human structures. So stuff like that. Another neat thing is when you're zoomed out enough, you can kind of see these clouds, and you can turn the clouds on or off. So those are layers. Now the last thing here is the measurement tool. So this could be handy if you want to just see simply the distance between 2 places. So say I wanted to see the distance between North Dakota and Nebraska. I would just click on this little measurement tool here. I'll click here in North Dakota, and then I'll just go down and I'll click here in Nebraska, and it's going to measure that, and I'll click done. It's going to measure that distance for me. It is 642.46 kilometers. So that's just handy if you want to get a quick measurement of things. Kind of neat. You can also, move that around and play with it. And then when you're done with the measurement tool, you don't need any more. You just exit out, and it removes that measurement. Anyway, there's a lot more to explore with Google Earth, and it's kind of a fun thing to play with. So I hope this was helpful. And yeah, thank you for watching.